and we're going to start making Aeris, our effect project. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to select Create New Project. I'm going to give it a name. I'm calling it Aeris, and then I'll click Create. And the first thing I'm going to do is save the XML. And I'll save the HIP as well. Okay, let's open the project folder, and I want to import some images into this because we're going to use some film strips for creating the GUI for this project. So let's open the images folder, and I'm going to open a second tab here, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and you can see on my desktop here I have a folder called Images, and in here I have some images which I'm going to copy across. And then I can delete this folder on my desktop and close that tab. So this is the images folder in our project. And we'll look at them in more detail when we start building out the GUI, but I just wanted to get them into the images folder of our project so everything is set up and ready to go. Okay, we can close the file browser now. In this video we're going to focus on building the module tree and our Scriptnode network, so the actual effect, and then in the next video we'll build the GUI and connect everything up. So with an effect plugin, we generally want our modules to be in the master chain. We don't need to add containers. We could do if it was a more complicated project, but generally we're just going to stick everything in the master chain. In order to be able to test the project and test the effect is doing what we want it to do within HISE, so without compiling our project to a plugin and loading it into a DAW and all that, we're going to need to add some way to generate sound into our module tree. So if we go to the plus button, I'm going to add a waveform generator. It's very basic, but it gives us some sound. However, it's a mono sound. If we look at the peak meter up here, we can see there's no difference between the left and the right. And we're making a stereo effect here, so it's good if we can add a bit of difference in there. So I've opened the waveform generator. Let's change the second oscillator. Instead of having it be a sawtooth, let's change that to a noise generator. Let's turn the mix down to about 15%. So we're hearing mostly the saw, but we'll hear a bit of the noise as well. And let's enable that second oscillator. I'm going to pan this one all the way over to the right. So the signal should now be a bit more stereo. Let's test it. Yeah, so we can now see some difference between the left and right channel, but let's create a bit more of a stereo image. Let's add a delay to this sound generator. And I'm going to turn off the tempo sync so that we can set things in milliseconds. I'm going to turn the mix all the way up to 100%. I'm going to turn the left delay down to, let's have about 2 milliseconds. I'm going to turn the right delay down to 0. The left feedback I'm going to set at 1%. And the right feedback I'm going to pull all the way down to 0. So I just want something really, really subtle. I might bump that left feedback up a little bit. Let's just try it. So that should do for our purposes. This is going to be removed at the end. It's just for testing and while we're developing our plugin. I'm not going to change the name of these modules since we're going to remove them later anyway. Okay, we've got sound running through our chain, so that means we can test the effect that we're going to build. So we're going to go to the effect section of the master chain, and we're going to add a script effect. So we'll click to add that. And this takes us into Scriptnode land. So we've got the Scriptnode workspace here. And if we were to click this button, we get the script editor as well, the code editor, and this is within the script effect. We're not going to be writing any code today, so we don't need that, but I just wanted to show you that it's here. We're going to come down and click this button here to create a new DSP network file. So I'll click on that, and we can give this effect a name. I'm actually going to give it the same name as the plugin. But if you were building out a more complicated project with multiple Scriptnode effects, you might want to give it a more descriptive name that is specific for whatever that effect is doing. So now we can edit the network that we've just created. So this is the Scriptnode workspace. We can click to move around on it. And if we hold Control and use our scroll wheel, we can zoom in or out. Let's open the project folder and go to the DSP networks folder. And we'll go to the networks folder in here. And here's the XML for the network we've created. So we can open it in a text editor. There isn't anything interesting in here yet because we haven't built it out, but it's just good to know that it is a text format. It's human readable, so if something doesn't seem to be working and you can't load it in HISE, you can come in here and make some changes and try and fix any issues. So this is a very simple effect we're building today. It's going to consist of a reverb node, and then we're going to have a little stereo width controller as well. So we'll start with the reverb. So to add a new node in Scriptnode, you hover your mouse over the container area, and you can see this grey line that appears. If I take the mouse away, that line goes away, and if I bring the mouse back in, the line reappears. So when the line's there, we can click, and now we can choose the node that we want to add. And there are lots to choose from, and we can click these buttons to filter out which nodes are displayed. Or if you know exactly which node you want, you could type it in. So if I wanted a PMA node, for example, I could type that in and it shows me those. There are also some node templates. So if we go over to the template tab and click that, so there you can see some of the pre-made templates that you might want to use as starting points for your own networks. And you get a little preview of what it's going to look like. We can navigate this list with our mouse, or what I usually do is use the cursor keys on my keyboard. And we're going to start with a container. We're going to add a chain. So I'll hit enter on my keyboard, and we can see a chain is added here. And over in this node list, we can see the chain has been added there. And we can click this button here to bypass it, and that button is also available here. To remove a node, just click the big X button. You can see it shows up now under the unused node section. This is basically like a list of recently used nodes. And if we click to add a node again, the chain we removed appears at the top of the list. We can clear it out from this sort of recent node section by clicking the trash icon. It won't disappear from here though until we add a new node. So if I was to add a split node, for example, now that chain has gone. We don't want the split though, so I'll just get rid of that. And let's clear it out. We're going to go back to adding a chain. There we go. Inside the chain, we're going to add a reverb. So we'll hit enter, and it's as simple as that. We now have a reverb. Let's hear what it sounds like. And we can bypass our effect over here. I'm going to turn the width all the way up on the reverb, and I think I'll turn the damping down a bit. Now nodes have properties that can be edited. You can see over here we can change the name, and we can change the colour if we want to. And this is just for a visual reference for you. It doesn't really make a difference to the end user, but when you're working on a really large network, it can be helpful to colour code things and name things in certain ways. Since we're just working on something really simple today, I'm not going to make any real changes. I'll just leave this sort of at the default. Now I want to add a control on the front of the interface to be able to bypass the reverb, and we can do that just by clicking this button, but that's not very good when we're playing back audio. Did you hear it was kind of a bit glitchy there? So what we need to use in order to be able to bypass and unbypass the reverb without this artifacting is what's called a soft bypass node, and this is basically going to kill the voices more gracefully when the node is bypassed. So we're going to add it above, so I'm just moving my mouse just above the reverb, and you can see that line appears there, and we'll click, and we're going to add the soft bypass. So there it is. I'll hit enter. And this is another type of container, so we can drag our reverb node into the soft bypass node like that. So now we can toggle the soft bypass node instead of the reverb node, and it will bypass the node more cleanly, more gracefully, and we shouldn't get any artifacting. So nice and smooth there. Now I want to be able to toggle this from the interface with a button, and to do that we need to add a parameter to our network, and we do that up here at the top. We click this little button. Looks a bit like the macro control button we saw earlier. So we click that, and we can add parameters here by clicking the plus button. So I'm just going to call this one reverb. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to click on the crosshair icon and drag a cable down to the soft bypasses power button, and release. So now this knob will control the bypass. And the knob has a range of 0 to 1, but when we connect this to a button on the front interface, the button will just toggle it between 0 and 1 without going through all the range of values, so it'll either be 0 or it will be 1, which is exactly what we want. Over here we can see a list of the parameters, and we can toggle them here as well. And this is nice if you have a lot of parameters to get this overview here. And you can hide this if you want to make your workspace a bit tidier, but it's still over here, can still be used. We can add parameters at other levels as well. However, we can't connect these to the front interface. They're just for use internally within your network. If you want to remove a connection like this, you can right click on the parameter and you can see all of the parameters connections. You can just click the trash icon to remove the connection. And now it's gone. Let's re-add that. And we could add it to multiple things if we wanted to. You can do something like that if you want one parameter to control multiple parts of your network. We don't want that though, so let's clear out these last two. So it's just connected to the bypass. I'm just going to adjust these again. There we go. And we'll come over here and click the floppy disk icon to save our work so far. So that's how we save the network. So that's the reverb part of our effect done. The next bit is for the stereo width control. And the reverb itself has a width control, but we're going to make an overall width control that will work whether or not the reverb is enabled. So beneath this chain, we're going to add another chain. And the UI is getting a bit tight here. So what I'm going to do is click on the outer network. And I'm going to come over to the top bar here and I'm going to click this second button in, which says swap the orientation of the selected containers. So we'll click that. So now we can see the two chains side by side, but that doesn't actually change the signal flow through our effect. So to be clear, the signal is coming in at the top here, going into our first chain with the reverb. Then it's coming out and going into the top of the second chain. And again, I'll turn the orientation back to the vertical layout just so you can see that. So the signal comes in here. It runs through the reverb chain and into the second chain and then out of the effect. But the horizontal view just makes it a bit easier to see what we're doing here. Within chain 1, I'm going to add an MS decode node. So what this does is it splits the signal into the mid and side components so that we can affect them separately. After the mid-side decode node, I'm going to add a multi-node. So this is another container, and in this one we can have separate nodes for the mid and the side. And it'll be easier to see that when I add a couple of nodes in here. So let's add a gain node. And then if we move our mouse to the side, we get a grey bar appear here. And if we click, I'm going to add another gain node. And I'll just pull this across so we can see it a bit more clearly. There we go. So that mid-side decode node is splitting the signal into the mid, which is coming through the first gain, the gain on the left, and the side signal is going through the gain on the right. So now we have independent control over those two parts of the signal. Now after it passes through this multi-container, we need to reassemble the signal so we stick the mid and side back together. And to do that we use the MS encode node. So let's see this in action. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bypass our reverb just so that's not having any effect. And in our effects chain, I'm going to add an analyzer. And let's click on the analyzer. We're going to change the type of analyzer to a goniometer. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's the one we want. So now if I play some audio, it gives us an idea of the stereo spread. And because we have the mid and side separate, if I pull down the gain on the side signal without changing the gain on the mid signal, we should now get a completely mono signal coming through because we're only getting that mid channel. And we can see that on the meter. And as I increase the gain on the side signal, we'll see more of that stereo image coming back in. Okay, we can close that up now. So this is how our width control is going to work. We're going to add a knob on the UI that controls the gain on the side channel without affecting the mid. Now things are getting a little cramped on the UI. We can zoom out and we can also close up some of these nodes if we wanted to. We can double click their headers so we see less of the node. We could also click on the outer header and then click this button here, and that sort of centers everything. And if we do that on one of the nodes, so if I select the chain here and click this button, it just focuses us on that one node that's selected. And you can see it's closed up the first chain with the reverb in it. Okay, let's add another parameter here. I'm going to call it width. We'll click OK. And the gain knob has a range of 0 down to -100. But the width control up here, the parameter, goes from 0 to 1. And that's actually fine because what HISE will do, it will automatically map the 0 to 1 range to the -100 to 0 range. So let's connect that up. And you can see that maps perfectly. So HISE handles that conversion for us. However, if we wanted to change the range of the width knob, we can do that by right-clicking and we could set a different minimum and maximum here. And we also can change the step size and skew factor and default value. So these things are very similar to what we get in the property editor on the GUI. I'm just going to leave everything at the default values though. I also want to connect the width knob to the size of the reverb. So as we reduce the width here, we're also going to reduce the size of the reverb. So if the reverb is enabled, this will also affect its stereo image. And this is pretty much the complete effect. I told you it was really simple. It was just to give you a taste of Scriptnode, just to give you an idea of what it's about and how to find your way around. I do want to add one more node to this, but we'll do that as we build the GUI because it's related to one of the controls on the interface. So head over to the next video and we'll start building out the GUI.